Well, hello there, everybody. I've been waiting for your return. My name is Amaze the Storyteller. I'm sure you already know that. And today I'm going to be talking about Vivi. What is Vivi's role within the story in Modern One Piece? What is she going to do? And by golly, what is she supposed to do about the Will of D? Right? Her mom or some shit has some connection to the Will of D, and that's great. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about Emu. We're not talking about that. I'm talking about the disappointment it was when Vivi, way back in Alabasta, did not join the Straw Hat Pirates. That shit made me cry. And I really wish that Vivi had joined. What would it look like if Vivi had joined the Straw Hat Pirates at that time? Well, number one, they would have another non-Devil Fruit user on their crew. Which, honestly, they probably should get another one. But they now have Jinbei, and it's great. But Vivi would have been awesome. Also, think of all of the fanfics, dude. Think of all the fanfics. Vivi would have been an awesome character, and I think with a power buff, Vivi would have done fantastic. But you already had a navigator, you had an archaeologist, you had all these crazy powerhouses on the crew already. You don't need Vivi. You need an external character that you can keep tabs on who's a pseudo Straw Hat, and that made sense in the time period. You also had Ace at that time, who was sort of a pseudo Straw Hat himself, not really, but kind of, and you were keeping tabs on both of them throughout the series. Now, what's cool about Vivi is obviously she's royalty, so she has power. She has a lot of power, just sitting there, not being used really, but she should have ancient knowledge, and I find that very strange that she doesn't, and that Cobra is the one who does. Because as we saw, spoiler alert, Cobra's dead, and with it goes the information and all of the valuable knowledge that Cobra held within him. Did Cobra pass it on to Vivi somehow? Is there a book about Lily that Vivi has access to? If not, that's incredibly disappointing, and would also make sense in its own way, but I would like to see Vivi become a powerhouse in her own right, and how could Vivi achieve this? How could Vivi become one of the strongest individuals in all of One Piece? Well, it's really simple. She has access to Poseidon. That's right, Vivi becoming a powerhouse would mean befriending Shirahoshi, which she has already done. Those two could become titans within the One Piece world without even knowing, right? You've got Vivi as the hype man and tactician, and then you have Shirahoshi as the powerhouse herself, able to call the sea demons to her will. These Sea Kings are OP as shit, by the way. These are not like kings like fucking Momu in East Blue. No. These are the guys who eat Momu. These are the guys who don't even really pay attention to that shit and can talk. This is how insane that is. That Shirahoshi can call upon these guys on a whim to cause major destruction. I'm talking if freaking Uranus shot down from the sky, these guys would survive it. These guys are huge. They're massive. Noah, which was capable of destroying Fishman Island, was caught by these guys. It was nothing. That is so impossible for us to comprehend, and Shirahoshi has the power to call upon them on a whim. And by extension, Vivi kinda does too. Vivi kinda does too. Now, like Momonosuke and like Shirahoshi, it's very likely that Vivi will eventually become coherent with the voice of all things. She'll be able to hear everything. She'll be able to hear Luffy's heartbeat, she'll be able to hear Zunisha talking, and it's gonna be great. Which means she can communicate with the Sea Kings along with Shirahoshi, which would be fantastic, because Shirahoshi is a very emotional mess 9 times out of 10, and she needs a strong, independent individual like Vivi to take command when times get tough. Now, what's really cool is that Lily, aforementioned one I'm not going to be talking about because I don't want to give any away spoilers, but I guess I'm going to have to. What's really cool is that we know very little about Lily, right? And I think Lily's a very captivating character for obvious reasons. I'm going to make a whole video on it. I'm not going to talk about it. But Vivi by proxy seems to be a reincarnation to some extent of this Lily individual. And it almost hints at the idea that Emu is in relation to Lily in some manner, in some way, shape, or form. And it could be that Lily had some direct involvement with the Nefertari family not joining the 12 Kings. Now, please do not come for me. The 20 kingdoms that made it in, the Nefertari family didn't. I get it. I get that that's probably already stated somewhere. That's not what I'm saying. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to get hate in the comments for that. What I'm talking about specifically is I think Emu had a more intimate relationship with Lily. I think that is incredibly plausible. What if Emu looks at individuals every generation and decides to pick a wife of that generation, or chooses a body of that generation? Here's the thing we haven't seen in One Piece yet, and it's very dark. But what if you had a user of a devil fruit that was able to swap bodies, much like Orochimaru from Naruto? And this individual could touch you, this individual could be ritualistic, and they basically put their soul into a new body. And what if every generation they look for a new body? What if the body just stays eternally youthful, but does rot away after 300 years or so once they push the human boundaries, once the cells stop recreating themselves, right? That would be interesting for Emu to have. Here's the thing, we all assume that because it's One Piece, Emu has got to be this incredibly strong individual who's capable of wiping out the planet. Here's the thing though, why would you need Uranus if you're, excuse me, goddamn, whoa. Why would you need Uranus if you're capable of doing that already? Why would you need Holy Knights if you're capable of doing that already? I think Emu is actually not a powerhouse in the sense of ability, but a powerhouse in the sense of tactics, knowledge, and wealth. And I think part of that wealth and desire is that Emu has a devil fruit that allows them to transfer bodies with an individual every X amount of years. And I think that would be absolutely insane. I think it'd be disgusting. And I think it would really paint Emu as this neutral character. Because here's the thing. Obviously, Emu is probably going to be a bad guy. To us. But in the world of One Piece, there's a really weird thing where the Marines, for the most part, are the good guys. The Marines fight the pirates. The pirates are doing the pillaging, the raping, the stealing of civilians, right? Which is bad. We can all say that it's objectively bad. However, when we look at the Marines, we tend not to cheer for them because they're painted as the bad guys of One Piece. We cheer for the Straw Hats, who are fun-loving pirate adventurers, but the 95% of pirates out there are absolutely killing civilians. For example, Captain Kidd had a 15 million berry more bounty than Luffy did because he was capping off civilians left and right. Just saying, not a good look, okay? Oftentimes, I find myself as a One Piece fan cheering for Kidd over some Marines, because most of the Marines we see are painted and depicted as pieces of shit by Oda, and we don't actually see the Marines do the daily good and the daily justice that is deserved. That's a rarity. We do see it. Smoker, for example, got the balloon and handed it to the little girl and said, hey, bye, and it was great. However, that's not the vast majority of Marines we see. The majority of the Marines we see have a rat aesthetic, which is telling about how Oda feels about the Marines and how we should feel about the Marines, and they tend to be seen as bad guys. It has changed recently with Garp and the exposition on Garp. If you guys have not seen my greatest One Piece theory video, go watch it, because we don't know what happened to Bogart, right? But anyway, getting back to Vivi, how Vivi plays into all this. What if the reason that Emu had that knife stuck in Vivi's image is because Emu's next victim for the next body is actually Vivi? What if Emu is an eternal princess or queen, and they want the body of the most beautiful individual in all of One Piece, which, honestly, is going to be two characters. It's going to be Boa Hancock or Vivi. Those are your two options, and one of them is royalty. Just saying. The other one is kind of a piece of dirt slave in the eyes of Emu. I disagree with it. I think Boa Hancock's amazing. Hi, Boa. Call me. But yeah, on the other hand, is royalty and is wanted and sought out more often, I'd imagine, than Boa is, seriously, because of her being royalty. So Emu might want Vivi for the body transfer, and that would be crazy. That would be absolutely wild if Emu could do that. And if Vivi is being targeted by Emu for the body transfer, that means at some point the Straw Hats have to be introduced to the Holy Knights, because those are the direct guards of Emu, and it's gonna come down to either Laugh Tale or Vivi. Let that sink in. It's gonna come down to either Laugh Tale or Vivi, and the Straw Hats will have to choose. And that's the thing that I think is gonna break One Piece and make it the greatest story of all time. Because no other shonen, no other piece of fiction out there, in my opinion, has a character had to make such a choice after years and decades of building upon the fact that that character would never give up their dreams for anything. That's what reinforced One Piece to be an incredible manga, is that Luffy's perseverance is second to none. And Luffy's going to have to make a choice, and that's what Vivi stands for. Vivi is a symbol of giving up your dreams for your friends. And it all harkens back to back in early One Piece when Vivi and all of them separated. Never should have happened, by the way. Vivi should have joined. So let's recap. Let's take a deep breath here. Let's recap. Essentially, with my theory, is that Emu has the body transfer devil fruit and is gunning after Vivi. And the Straw Hats learn of this, learn about publication, because guess who Vivi is going to be taken from? Morgan's, because that's the place we're at within the story. The Holy Knights are going to capture Vivi. Luffy's going to learn about the Holy Knights' existence from Morgan's publication. Luffy and crew from Elbaf are going to power up with the Elbaf warriors and giants, and they're going to set sail to go rescue Vivi from Emu. The thing is, though, at that same time, it's going to come to fruition that Blackbeard has all of the rogue poneglyphs and is headed towards Laugh-Tale. Because it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to have Luffy find the last rogue poneglyph and head to Laugh-Tale first. Luffy will have to make a serious decision on whether or not he wants to save Vivi or destroy the Blackbeard pirates. And the thing is that a big part of One Piece and an underlying theme of One Piece, a recurring theme within One Piece, is destiny. Luffy was destined to be the sun god Nika. It had been hinted at throughout the entire series, now that we can look back on it. It wasn't stated, and the hints are mild at best, but they're there. And destiny played a huge role in that. Reincarnation played a huge role in that. Look at Joy Boy. Look at other Will of D users. It's reincarnated. It's inherited. Luffy's going to have to make a choice, and by proxy, that choice will be to destroy the Celestial Dragons, destroy Marijois, which is what he is destined to do, just like Joy Boy was, just like the Sun God Nika was, and free the slaves, by extension, giving up Laugh-Tale. It's pretty big. This theory is no joke, because what's being set up currently with Cobra dying is that Alabasta is going to be in an uprising. Alabasta is not going to have a leader. Right now, their de facto leader is Chaka. I talked about it in the last video. They're not going to have a ruler. So the Alabastians are going to head out in full to go search for their leader. They're going to go to Marijois, and they're going to find out that the Holy Knights kidnapped Vivi, which is a direct violation of the treaty for the Nefertari family falling out of grace. And they're going to go to war against the Marijois. Now, to Marijois, to be honest with you, and the Holy Knights, that's not a big threat. What is a big threat is the publication and the publicity that Vivi was kidnapped. Because Morgan's is not going to let that shit slide. You cannot buy Morgan's. That was the whole point of the CP6 agent getting his head blown off by Morgan's delicious news punch, right? The thing is that when Morgan's has that power to put it out there, that the Holy Knights captured Vivi against her will, that's the key, against her will, Alabastians and the public are going to outrage. Other nations will unite with the Alabastians because the whole point of mentioning the heavenly tribute was to showcase the civilians' aggression towards the Celestial Dragons. Remember, this is a crazy thing too. Remember that whole thing that happened with T-Bone, where T-Bone died and was transferred over to the Cross Guild and that dude got a big payout from Buggy? Yeah, because of the Celestial Tribute raping individuals. Raping those people, of just taking their capital, taking their gains, and throwing it in the trash, basically. The Celestial Dragons are buying toilet paper with it. Now, we know that there's a food shortage on Marijois, makes sense. You got to transfer it all the way up there. There's no hunting grounds, so makes sense. There's also no farmland. That's for the icky guys down below, right? Well, that's the thing. The people hold all the power. But anyway, so the Celestial Tribute pissed off a lot of civilians. And those civilians will align themselves. And by proxy, the kingdoms that support those civilians will align themselves with the Alabastians, and that's where things get hairy for Marijois. So amidst the chaos, the Holy Knights are going to face off against the Straw Hats and maybe a few other allied forces, and the others are going to have to deal with all of the civilians uprising with the Revolutionary Army. It's all about fate. And Vivi being captured by the Holy Knights, means the trigger to what is supposed to come, and Luffy is going to deliver the final blow against Sir Garling, or maybe some other Holy Knight we haven't seen who's the head of them, and that finishing blow is going to be the end of the world government as we know it, the end of the Celestial Dragons. And then we'll get the exposition on why they're called Celestial Dragons. I'm going to make a whole video about that later as well. Don't let me forget. And that's when Luffy finally has the forces to go get Laugh Tale. And I don't think the final battle is going to be Laugh Tale. I think the final battle is going to be Luffy destroying the world government for good, and everybody cheering for Luffy to go to Laugh Tale and defeat Blackbeard. And Blackbeard, it's not going to be a battle. Blackbeard does not strike me as the end of series baddie. He doesn't. And I'm pretty sure all of the other One Piece YouTubers out here are in agreement with me when you watch their videos. They're like Blackbeard a huge power boost, like maybe he's got a mythical zone Kraken ability because Krakens have 3 brains or 3 hearts or whatever, and they're able to swap it. Great. Keep giving him power boost. The fact you need to do that means he is not the endgame threat that we're looking forward to. But you could be the Holy Knights. Because so far, Sir Figurland Garling has been insanely powerful. We watched him dice up a Celestial Dragon, dude. We watched him do that. We watched him crucify a Celestial Dragon. They're supposed to be untouchable in the One Piece world. And he just did that, and everybody was like, yes, good show, yes, yes. Garling did that, yes. We must follow his orders at all costs, because he is ahead of everybody. Crazy, dude. Crazy that Sir Figurland Garling is in there. Now we know that he is, in fact, a Gorosei member. Even weirder, what happens to the other guy? I don't know. That's a video for another day I'll do more research on. But the whole point is that Vivi is going to become more important than we realize within the series, and she's going to become more powerful than we ever imagined. She's going to dictate where the flow of One Piece goes and where the story ends, and I think that is incredibly exciting. If you guys agree, please make sure you subscribe and like my videos. Watch the playlist down below. I'm going to try to make these videos in better quality, better lighting, better mic, better audio, so that you can enjoy these videos and maybe make a podcast. I don't know. We'll see. But I love you all. If you guys would like to see more of this One Piece content, let me know down in the comments below who you want to see in the next video, and I will talk about them. Anyway, guys, love you all. Peace.